now we are moving to a very extensive panel with a very experienced panel of speakers. First of all, I would like to invite the moderator, Mr. Andrew Woodward from the Lloyd's Middle East and Turkey. He is the regional head. Andrew, please. Followed by Mr. Erdem Karabostan. He is the general manager of T-Rupt Technologies. Dr. Ceyhun Eren. He is from Allianz Teknik. He is the risk engineering and director of Allianz Teknik. Mr. Yavuz Ölken, the CEO of AXA Sigorta and member of board of directors of insurance companies of Turkey. Mr. Michael Roth, he is from the public sector practice from Munich Capital Partners. He is the lead of the department. And last but not least, Mr. Özgür Bülent Koç, the Deputy General Manager of Türk Reinsurance. And I would like to give a message from Esther, from Swiss Re. Unfortunately, she is very sick, so she was obliged to cancel her participation. Yes, dear Andrew, I would like to announce that Andrew has a flight, and his chauffeur is a little bit hectic, so we need to finish at 1:15.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So good morning, everybody. It's an absolute privilege to be here. As Vanessa just said, unfortunately, we are a little bit pushed for time. So whereas I would normally introduce myself and ask the panel to introduce themselves, I'm sure the panel, they are all as well known to you, or far better known to you than they are to me, actually. And I met them earlier. So I'm going to suggest that without further ado, I would like my colleague to make his first presentation. Each member of the panel will have 15 minutes to make a presentation, following which there'll be a Q&A at the end of the session.
And thank you, Andrew. Greetings. It's an honor and a privilege for me to speak in front of such a distinguished audience. And also I thank the organizers for the opportunity. I'll try to keep it quick. And also it is hard for me to talk about modeling after Professor Akkar's presentation. I'll try to keep out of the technical stuff and will not make very bold assertions, except for just one. Okay, this is a depiction I have been using for my presentations for the last couple of sessions. A book called Disaster Insurance Reimagined by Jarzabkowski et al. Argues that there are three paradoxes to disaster resilience. I'm not going to go into details of two. One is responsibility. Is the responsibility be individual or collective? The second one is control. Is it going to be the industry or the government? But what we have at hand, the third one, is the paradox of knowledge. And if a country or region or a community fails to create a balance in terms of all these three paradoxes, then the disaster resilience will be hindered. For the knowledge, this is where modeling comes to play. So, we have two asymptotes. One is having no knowledge at all about disasters, catastrophes. Let's call it unknown disasters. And the second one is, hypothetically speaking, we know everything about disasters, even in a deterministic fashion. In both cases, insurance will be impossible. Because, first case, we would not be able to price the risk. And second one, there would be a symmetrical information between the policyholder and the insurer, so there would be no need for insuring. So there is a balance. And with that balance, every day, with the modeling efforts, the industry is gaining space with the collection of data, also elaboration of methodologies. And speaking of repeated disasters, we have plenty. This is an animation by USGS, and starting from 1900, the earthquakes that our beautiful country has been exposed to. We're coming to 1999, Kocaeli, and then here comes the latest devastating Kahramanmaraş earthquakes. A byproduct of these sad events is gathering of data suitable for modeling. And by data, I mean with the maturity that, for example, TCIP has come, the data is quite granular. And lessons learned from past events help us a lot to predict and create the future estimations. Now, just a brief collection of numbers. The 11 provinces that were affected by the Kahramanmaraş earthquakes constituted about 9.8% of the overall GDP of Turkey by 2021 numbers. There were industrial sites in Kahramanmaraş, Gaziantep, and Adana. And 50% of the buildings were post-2001, supposedly high code. Total economic loss was announced by the Presidency's Strategy and Budget Office by around $103.6 billion, and UN estimate was $100 billion. Coincidentally, a strange coincidence, it also constituted about 9% of our GDP. So, a year of value production was lost in economic terms. 14% of the buildings were either collapsed, heavily damaged, or doomed to be demolished. So these are all subject to modeling. And also, from the operational side, this is the flow of first notifications of loss that TCIP received. And about 600,000 FNOs were made to TCIP in months, but half of them came only in February. This was modeled as well. And also by 2022, TCIP had carried out with the T-Rupt team, I'm also SBM, Insurance Information and Supervision Center of Turkey, load tests, and had adjusted the capacity planning of the FNO channels. So, just a brief overview. CAT modeling, in terms of earthquakes, have three main modules. One is the hazard module, and we can say it's what's going beneath the ground. The second one is the risk module. We can say what's going over the ground to human structures and content, and also to businesses in terms of interruption. And the financial model is the policy losses and also reinsurance losses. All three modules have to be robust and create accurate results to have a usable, reliable end result. Now, for the hazard model, we currently have more than 100,000 simulated earthquakes for the Anatolian region and the Trakya region. While it is questioned that, for example, Kahramanmaraş earthquakes were not represented in many stochastic catalogs, we are now trying to reduce the number of earthquakes in our catalog for computation power's sake, but still keep and remain the representative power of our stochastic catalog. We have all the force sources, nearly 500, with the characteristics of Turkey's fault zones embedded in our model, and also the area sources. So hazard model is very important, and it has to be studied thoroughly. Secondly, what's going over the ground? It is the vulnerability aspect. So generalized vulnerability sets do not work well in peculiar geographies. Hence the virtue of localized models. We have about 2,000 vulnerability curves for different lines of businesses and for different subject of activities, specifically developed for Turkey and in adherence with the construction principles that are in use in Turkey. For 3 different data quality layers, we have multiplied our curves, hence we have a combination of 6,000 curves that are being constantly calibrated by the team. So this is the virtue of having an agile and local model. And also preconceptions are usually wrong. We have a lot of known knowns and we have a lot of known unknowns. Okay? So for example, the famous, what is so-called demand surge. After an event like Kahramanmaraş, you could expect a dramatical demand curve, but that's not the case. The data doesn't suggest that. 2 minutes, okay. The data doesn't suggest that because we were already in an inflationary cycle. Because Turkey is strong in construction in terms of workforce and resources, and also capable of quickly mobilizing them. So, having the right hazard model, having the right risk model, having the right financial model boils down to, first, physical damage and business interruption, giving us the ground-up loss. Secondly, the financial loss before any risk transfers, and the net loss for post-risk transfers for own risk. Now, this is my last slide. So, in Turkey, for a couple of decades, the insurers have been utilizing models. But they are utilized for insurance renewals. Utilizing models solely for renewals purpose is like asking for a check after the dinner. Okay? Throughout the underwriting year, we accept many risks and then take a snapshot of our portfolio at a given point in time, make some bold assumptions, and then send it to the modeler and get some results to make decisions for a whole next year. We can think beyond that. This is the good old stochastic modeling with the annual exceedance probabilities, return periods, OEP curves, and also annual average losses. What we are trying to introduce is first the scenario-based modeling. Because Marmara event has no return period in our own eyes. It is an imminent threat. So stress testing is one. Single risk modeling is another one. Because, now coming to my main proposition, we have to have a paradigmatic shift in the way we utilize models. we should be looking for opportunities to embed modeling and model results to our underwriting processes, risk selection processes, to make use of the competitive advantages between our companies for different portfolio compositions. And also, I'm sure Michael will be speaking about that after me, but modeling for parametric primary insurance and reinsurance as well we can use. Event response, Sinan Akkar just mentioned about them. And also lastly, I would like to mention we have now introduced our fatality and injury model for lifelines, personal accident, and health portfolios. I would like to underline that we have the injury model as well, not only fatality, which we believe should be beneficial for life and pension companies as well as P&C companies. Thank you.
Erdem, thank you so much. I think that was a very, very useful. I asked Erdem to go first because I thought his background would give us a fantastic general introduction to the subject, and I think you'll agree it certainly did. So, Ceyhun, as the representative of Allianz, would you like to take us through your thoughts?
Thank you very much.
And if we could, just to make sure we got time for questions on Slido, try and keep it to 15 minutes. I'm terribly sorry for this, but we are under some time pressure.
I will be doing my best. Thank you very much, actually, for the kind invitation. It is always a pleasure for me, an honor to speak such a valuable audience. And briefly introducing myself, I have been working for Allianz more than 20 years, and I'm in charge of risk engineering departments, as well as Allianz Teknik, Earthquake and Fire Testing and Training Center, which is a unique project. And we are proud to say that we are celebrating this year the 5th year of our facility with full of success, especially during the pandemic days, since we are the first and only accredited earthquake laboratory. We are servicing the producers of mainly non-structural elements like server cabinets, electrical panels, suspended sailings, and the other stuff, generators. So our reports are valid all over the world. So this is a very important concept, and I will be talking about this fact. Let me start with a simple comparison, actually. I don't know, there are a lot of people representing the health insurance, I guess. By the way, let me say that this is the old approach, and let me take you back to 2000s. I was a civil engineering student at the time of severe, one of the biggest earthquakes, 1999 Izmit earthquake. So I have decided to go on with the earthquake structural analysis to understand why do the buildings fail. But it was a totally coincidence for me to enter insurance sector. I have seen a job advertisement calling risk engineering. I didn't know this before, and I thought that we will be going to the site and taking some samples from the buildings and structurally analyze in the computer, but I have seen that the majority is coming from the fire engineering. And when I look to the criteria, how we calculate the premium for earthquake insurance, by just only looking to the seismic zone, building type, even I was very surprised and shocked. Why do the buildings constructed which have load-bearing systems, steel construction and reinforced concrete structures are at the same level? So, and even the worse, wooden structures are getting the highest premium. But when it comes to health insurance, I am not an expert, but I guess there are a lot of questions we are asking to the client before giving the proposal, like age, height, weight, even military service, if you didn't do why, and also some disease. But this is changing. So I am now very happy. Maybe it took 21 years to see me these days, but I am happy now. And because it was nothing related with the engineering. When we define the problem, actually, up to now, we have seen a lot of detailed studies, especially concentrated on earthquake magnitude, fault distance, and also vulnerability curves models. But the weakest point of this chain is we didn't pay sufficient attention to the structural modeling. Especially, I'm talking about risk-based. So what I will be emphasizing in this presentation is risk-based approach creates a real difference, okay? Instead of models, vulnerability curves. Because we have seen that probably 14% of the buildings will be in a very heavy damage situation. But the problem is which of them. So we shouldn't give the same premium for the whole buildings in the inventory. Let me show you the famous fault zone. This is the North Anatolian fault zone, taken after 1999 earthquake. Do you think there is a interesting thing in the picture? I guess you have all seen this building, which didn't actually having even minor damage, I guess. There can be a lot of reasons, but most probably it was over-designed to me. I didn't make an assessment, but I have seen that there are some steel bars still at the top level, so which means that they designed this building most probably for 10-story high. But they were lucky when we pay attention to the timing. But what would you do if I would have said that you are living very close to the, only 10 meters away from the fault zone? Most important, probably you will immediately leave the building. But when it comes to insurance, there's no damage. But most probably we would give the highest premium, or even not the coverage maybe. When we look back to the history of earthquake PML calculations, the date back to 1930s, especially after the 1925 Santa Barbara earthquake, many of the insurance companies didn't want to give coverage, earthquake coverage. So for the first time, structural engineers came into the market, and they start to create some methodologies to calculate earthquake PML. And the gentleman, John Freeman, for the first time said that if you have an industrial building, the expected loss is around 20%. So please keep in your mind this 20%, because I will be coming back to. Then later, structural engineer Carl Steinbruch, he has for the first time defined how to calculate earthquake PML. Then ATC 13, some statistical methodologies, and when we come today, especially the famous models used in the insurance sector, also based on HAZUS and FEMA methodologies, which are generally accounting to the structural information, structural details, as well as spectral acceleration, not only the modified Mercalli intensity. Today, let me give you that we are in a very good position in terms of earthquake engineering, and with a very high accuracy, we can calculate what could happen to the building. We call this earthquake performance assessment, and as you can guess, after this devastating earthquakes, we are very much giving this service as Allianz Teknik at the same time. And what we are doing is we are pushing the building, imaginary, not really. Then we estimate the critical state lines, which is the minor damage state, which is the moderate, which is the severe. Then we compare with the seismic demand, changing according to the location and also soil conditions. And then we calculate the performance point. But these are all structural estimation. But in risk engineering, it is not easy to spend maybe 3-4 months for only one building assessment. So we had to create some rapid calculation methodologies. This was created by me in 2015, only for industrial buildings. And for the first time, I also had the chance to make a technical comparison, which is not always the same, valid at the same, for these devastating earthquakes after site surveys. And what I try to do is to give a structural loss estimation curve, changing according to the certain criteria, which are the span length, height of the column, the cross-section, even if you know the cross-section details, because earthquake performance is hidden in the details of the structures. Also the other parameters, and including roof type, coverage, and also after this earthquake, we started to pay attention to if there is a solar panel installed on top. Okay? Then we can, with these parameters, we can easily calculate the expected performance level. You see, we had expected a collapse with a very small difference, maybe. And what happened? Like a reverse engineering we done. And this is the before earthquake. It's a textile company in Türkoğlu region at Kahramanmaraş. And this was the case which I can say that these methodologies work very well with a very high accuracy. Some other examples I'm passing through. And also some buildings which didn't suffer. And yes, it is also valid for us. And how we can calculate insurance premium. I am not an expert, by the way, I'm not an actuary, but when it comes to earthquake engineering, we should, if we know the individual PML of the building, then I guess it is not too difficult to calculate, because as all perils, what we do in insurance concept is just to simply multiply with the frequency and also severity. So we know the severity and also frequency, because it's a deterministic way of calculating. So in globally and according to the standards, for earthquake PML calculation, the frequency is constant, which is a return period of 475 years, equal to an exceeding probability of 10% in 50 years' time. So which means that for you, 90% of a probability this would happen in 50 years' time. Okay? So when we start to calculating first base rate, then guess an insured value, because I will be only showing a comparison of the rates, not the premium. So by making adding some loadings, reinsurance cost, capital cost, and also profit, then according to the deductible levels, we put one by one for for the whole portfolio. For this study, it was around 80 different buildings. Then we can calculate what happens. It is the result, which means that actually this was a shock for me, because when we compare with the market prices, only the major comparison is for slight damage, expected damage level of slight building, while we are applying a rate of 0.30, we should apply 30 times higher premium to the one which we expect as severe loss. And for the collapse, it's even worse, 50 times. So when it comes to actually public awareness, I think as insurers, we should also warn people. Most of the time they know, by the way. The people generally know their risk, but they had to live with this risk, unfortunately. But anyway, this is another concept, which is a multidisciplinary approach. So I also compare with the existing models. And as you can guess, existing models could give the same premium because they are all concentrated on the height of the building or the number of floors, the date of construction, and the location. So most probably in Türkoğlu region, for example, every industrial buildings will get the same earthquake PML, which is expected. But once you go to the site, you see that there is a huge differentiation. And that's all for the comparison. And as you can guess, the rates are different according to the loadings. And lastly, I want to emphasize non-structural element effect. Because up to now, the most famous models didn't pay attention to the non-structural issues, even occupancy types. For example, you can get the same earthquake PML value for a glass industry or a textile industry, which is not true, actually. Because once we are talking about earthquake damage, yes, structural damage is very important, but we should also pay attention to non-structural damage, which could harm maybe the factory, and in terms of business interruption, more than structural damage. I don't want to make you afraid, but what once I entered to this room, once I have seen that there are glasses on top. So please don't leave. But I don't think they have an earthquake test report and just hanging with a single rod. So, but during an earthquake, there could be some problems. Please, Özgür Bey, you can continue to sit. But once we go back to the, this is a risk management, by the way, sliding machinery, broken glasses, slided, overturned high-rack systems, also broken sprinkler system pipes, which also resulted as a water damage. These are all earthquake damage. So what we could do, actually, I want to give you some clue. If you want to calculate, or if you want to add also non-structural effect to your premium calculation, you must pay attention to three main criteria, which is the risk of class of occupancy, seismic hazard, and also structural loss, expected loss in the building. And we have different kinds of occupancy types, classes, risk grades, changing from 1 to 4. According to, you see that the glass production is 1, the highest risk, but once you look, rubber production is the 4th one. So I'm very happy to say that we are now, as Allianz Turkey, starting to apply this approach, which I guess it was a late, but not too late. And we should, as the insurance, to give the right premium to our clients, okay? By paying attention to all these engineering information. Why glass? As you can see during the devastating earthquakes, what happens to a stock for a glass product? Like a domino effect, if you don't care about the fixing issues, you can lose the whole stock which you can put after earthquake again. So this is recorded by a security camera. It's conclusion time, but I said everything, I guess, and I want to finish with the very famous video, which I have even shown last year. But when it comes to risk awareness, I guess it is always important to show, pay attention. Tea is very important in Turkish culture, and during this shaking event, two friends, one of them is taking the tea and the other one is also. Tea is the first thing to protect it. And unfortunately, this is a teacher jumping out of the window. So as Allianz Teknik, we have the responsibility that we should also pay attention, starting by the childhood, which is Japanese do. So started a very huge education process with the aim of reaching more than 100,000 children, starting with this year. I hope we should increase the public risk awareness, since it is it's a multidisciplinary concept and it should be owned by all society. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
So it would appear that the British and the Turkish have quite a lot in common, because I'm pretty sure my wife would rescue her cup of tea first as well, well before me. Michael from Munich Re.
Green button is to move on.
Yeah, okay. The green one.
So, can you hear me? Okay, great. Yeah, I feel honored actually to have the privilege actually to talk here. So my name is Michael Roth. I'm the Global Public Sector Practice Lead in a division at Munich Re that deals with non-traditional risk transfer. Well, this is actually all types of derivatives, parametric insurance, and also cat bonds. And in that context, we are not only providing risk capacity, but we also provide advisory. So we structure solutions for sovereigns, and our clients are typically sovereigns, sub-sovereigns, like multilateral development banks, other public entities. So I have rarely the opportunity to talk to an insurance crowd, and I hope that my way of presenting is not oversimplifying things to some extent, as I know you're very well-educated and very knowledgeable crowd, actually, to talk about also the protection gap. Okay, when I was asked to talk about the protection gap, I put myself, certainly, due to my function, into the head of a public decision maker. What is the protection gap from the point of view of a sovereign? In the end, the sovereign is the one, actually, that is the reinsurer of last resort. The sovereign is actually absorbing all the risk, actually, that is not protected. Shortly about Munich Re, and that I was told by my colleagues that are in charge of the Turkish market, we are very proud to be the leading reinsurer in Turkey. Certainly we have also had, I guess, a leading share of loss after the Maraş earthquake, but this is something which is very important for us, and we are not here actually only for a couple of decades, but I went into our records, and we are in Turkey active for more than 7 decades. We are not only providing traditional reinsurance capacity to the market, but we have been always involved also in supporting new initiatives. When the Izmit earthquake happened actually in 1999, I think we have been involved with World Bank in supporting the Turkish market and setting up the TCIP, and then later on we were structuring and supporting the issuance actually of the first cat bonds actually of TCIP, Bosporus 1 and 2. And certainly for the future, Munich Re has the ambition to stay at the side of the Turkish insurance market, to provide capacity, but also to address the protection gap in an efficient manner. And let me just go to the next slide. The protection gap is a tricky thing. So lots of different definitions. So some definitions are, okay, the protection gap is all the risk actually that is not insured, deducted from the economic loss, is the protection gap. Yeah, but that's maybe a little bit actually overestimated, huh? And then there are other actually definitions to define actually the role of insurance in the protection gap, that the protection gap is actually the economic loss minus actually the proportion of the loss that could be economically reasonably insured. That's already a little bit more humble, but not yet humble enough. And I don't need to say it, since we had such a lot of great presentations and contributions. I think the protection gap is certainly a function of two things. On the one hand side, kind of the exposure that's very vulnerable in the context of earthquake, like maybe built at locations where it should not be built, not reinforced, no enforcement of building codes, for instance. And on the other hand side, if there is not enough actually financial means to finance quick response and reconstruction, and in addition actually if, for instance, loss adjustment does not really work, then the protection gap is huge. And as a matter of fact, the protection gap needs to be addressed from both sides. So I like very much what the colleague from Allianz was presenting, like with all this diligence going into understanding the risk and being in the function of setting the premium at a risk-based level, also to signal to the market actually how big the risk is. Or what Mr. Karabostan and Professor Sinan Aka said before, like it all starts with a robust understanding of risk, like which is the pivotal fundament actually of understanding actually the risk, and to understand actually what are efficient measures to reduce and prevent the risk, and let's say where can we prevent and reduce risk, and how do we manage the unavoidable. And the insurance sector does play a role on many of these different elements of such an integrated risk management approach. And we talked about it in the understanding of risk, which is the fundament actually to understand where does it make sense to prevent and to mitigate risk. And what do we do with the unavoidable? So if an event strikes, actually are we prepared? How do we have action plans prepared, and how do we implement them, and how are they financed? And how is the entire loss and damage financed? And then how are the losses adjusted in a very smart and fast way in order to avoid any amplification of loss after an event? Let me talk about risk financing. And then I would also like humble ourselves as an insurance sector. If we talk about the protection gap, we talk about not necessarily about that all the protection gap should be insured. I had already one restriction, it should be only those insured where it's economically feasible to do so, and we have to acknowledge that there are a lot of other sources of risk financing, and insurance has to play actually its role where it provides the best value proposition. So there are different ways of insurance, such as traditional insurance for typically actually covering the damages to assets, and there is a growing number of innovative, non-traditional solutions which are able also to cover actually the risks that cannot be covered by traditional insurance, such as loss of income and other sources. Okay, that's a very simplistic kind of representation how a natural disaster turns into either loss or damage for the private or the public sector. So typically, okay, we have certainly like public infrastructure destroyed. We have on the public sector side, we have additional costs actually to respond to a disaster. We have tax and toll income shortfall. Also on the private sector side, we have damaged assets and properties, and we have business interruption and income shortfall. But the good thing is actually there's a growing number. For the past 20 years, we have a big number of initiatives where the private sector and the public sector work together in order to address this protection gap. And there are, for instance, the big public asset insurance schemes. I think that could be also something that could be of interest for Turkey. Like we have in Indonesia, in Mexico, and in the Philippines, we have public asset insurance schemes where the central government obliges actually all ministries to insure its public assets on a traditional way against catastrophic risk. And these insurance programs then imply a better management of the risk and a faster actually loss adjustment after an event happened. It's not so much about mobilizing the insurance capacity for this, since a country as Mexico would have other sources to tap into capital markets and to raise the money, but it's to use the insurance as a kind of a bracket to enhance good governance actually of public assets. And there are actually the programs that are there to cover actually the financial loss of sovereigns in a situation where they are hit by a disaster. These are all the famous pools, like which are the Africa Risk Capacity, which is a pool for more than 20 African countries now, the Caribbean Catastrophic Risk Insurance Facility, the Pacific Catastrophic Risk Insurance Facility, and one in Southeast Asia. These are all programs which are based on parametric solutions to ex-ante finance emergency response for sovereigns. And then certainly there's TCIP, and TCIP was always a role model. So like, how can a government that knows that in the end, if there's a large protection gap, has to cover actually the loss from its own resources, how can a government, given a very strong insurance sector in the country, delegate this contingent liability to the private sector? And that can be done by means of mandatory insurance. And I think TCIP is like a role model for this. And it works in cooperation with the domestic insurance sector. And there are other schemes which I find also interesting. Certainly we have population groups in countries which cannot afford insurance, which have not access to insurance. And there's a growing number of programs, such as a famous program in Morocco, where the government has the obligation to indemnify households if they are hit by a disaster, but knowing that they cannot afford to buy insurance or have not access, the government organizes insurance coverage on behalf of these households. And as a matter of fact, like when there was the Marrakesh quake, I think it was in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, also 2023, but when the Marrakesh quake was, actually there was a big loss in terms of impact on low-income households, and the insurance scheme that was pre-arranged by the government mobilized 300 million euros actually to compensate for the losses of the households. Okay. As I'm working on non-traditional risk transfer, just a snapshot again, like we do provide a big and a broad actually bandwidth of different parametric solutions, be it for epidemics, for pandemics, for flood, for extreme precipitation actually, for drought, for earthquake, for tropical cyclones, like there's a growing bandwidth of parametric solutions. In the earthquake space, we heard today already actually from my colleague from Liberty Mutual that there are different ways, and also from T-Rupt, there are different ways to approach this. Like I wouldn't say that one or the other is a better one, but we have to be very selective in using the parametric solutions that best matches actually with actually the purpose of the insurance. So if you have high value, single or multiple location kind of, but not too many actually assets, then a sensor could be a great kind of improvement. If you have huge portfolios actually of risks, I think a shake map that could be empowered by T-Rupt's abilities and knowledge, and all the knowledge that is in Turkey available could be a very good solution. But even a cut in the box has some value proposition in situations where you need to have a very simplistic product and where you understand actually the origin of a potential damage by means of the rupture very well. Okay, if you want to know more about that, like we are more than happy at Munich Re just to respond to all questions with regard to parametric risk transfer and to work with you on solutions. As I mentioned, we do provide advisory and risk capacity, so we are very much enthusiasts about working on such new things. Okay, for closing, I think for me as working in the public sector, before I joined Munich Re, I was actually working within the public sector, providing advisory in the context of development cooperation. TCIP was always a role model. And I think the Kahramanmaraş earthquake revealed, okay, there is a lot of lessons learned which have to be incorporated. I think Munich Re would be more than happy and would be very much honored if we can play a supportive role actually in addressing the protection gap. Çok teşekkür ederiz.
Michael, thank you so much. Thank you very much indeed. Yes, could I please invite Mr. Ushka Dentkoch to the stage?
Turkish.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't have any presentation. If our foreign visitors doesn't mind, I will continue in Turkish. Hepiniz hoş geldiniz tekrar. Ben herhangi bir sunum yapmayacağım ama yani Türk Reasürans olarak hep burada konuşulan konularla ilgili şu anki yaklaşımımız nedir? Protection Gap'ten ne anlıyoruz? Neleri yapmayı planlıyoruz? Bunların hepsi hakkında size biraz kısaca, çok da vaktinizi almadan bazı bilgiler vermeye çalışacağım. Şimdi tabii bizim en önemli şu anda yönetmekte olduğumuz TCIP yani DASK'ta ki protection gap dediğimiz korunma eksiği tabii ki direkt penetrasyonla alakalı. Yani şu anda biz işte Maraş depreminden sonra tabii yaşadığımız en büyük hasardı. Çok hızlı bir penetrasyon artışı yaşadık. %20'ler civarında yeni bir poliçe girişi oldu. Fakat işte milletimizin tipik bir özelliği, bunu biraz üstünden vakit geçip unuttuktan sonra da bu yıl içerisinde tekrar %8 civarında yenilemelerde bir kayıp yaşadık TCIP'de. Ve şimdi tabii bizim amacımız bu penetrasyonu çok daha olgun seviyelere çekmek için neler yapmalıyız ki burada insanların özellikle de householder'ların, ev sahiplerinin yaşamış oldukları, yaşayabilecekleri protection gap'i nasıl şey yapabiliriz? Tabii burada zorunlu afet sigortasına yani second peril'lar dediğimiz işte selle başlayıp diğer tüm deprem hariç afetleri aldığımız programı önümüzdeki yıl başlatmayı hedefliyoruz. Tabii bu en önemli değişikliklerden bir tanesi. Fakat bununla birlikte tabii burada oluşacak olan prim seviyesinin daha yükseklere çıkıyor olması, burada bize bir penetrasyon kaybı fiyatlardaki ve primlerdeki artışlardan ötürü bir penetrasyon kaybı yaşama ihtimalini getiriyor. O yüzden de 2025 yılında işte gerekli düzenlemeler yapıldıktan sonra zorunlu afet sigortasını 12 eşit taksitle alarak insanların daha kolay ödemesini sağlayıp ve hatta eğer yıl içerisinde yetiştirebilirsek direkt tahsilat yani müşterilerin banka hesaplarından ya da işte otomatik ödeme talimatları ya da kredi kartlarıyla direkt tahsilat yaparak artık doğal afet sigortaları kurumuna zorunlu afet sigortası için yapılan ödemeleri aylık sabit bir ödeme şeklinde bir alışkanlık haline getirmeyi hedefliyoruz. Bunu 2025 için ama daha önemlisi penetrasyonda istediğimiz seviyelere çıkabilmek için değerli konuklar 2026'da yenilemeyi otomatik yapmayı planlıyoruz. Yani sisteme bir şekilde giriliyor ama sistemden çıkışı biraz daha zorlaştırarak içeride tuttuğumuz sigortalı sayısını çok daha yukarılara çekmeyi hedefliyoruz ki şöyle bir istatistik var elimizde. Şu anki toplam konut stoğunun aşağı yukarı %85-90'ı geçtiğimiz 10 yılda bir şekilde DASK yaptırmış. Fakat bunların sadece şu anda 11,5 milyonu elimizde kalmış. Yani yenilemede ciddi bir kayıp yaşıyoruz her yıl yapılan yenilemelerde. İşte 25'te ve 26'da alacağımız aksiyonlarla penetrasyonu önümüzdeki 5 yılın sonunda %90'lara çıkartmayı hedefliyoruz Doğal Afet Sigortaları Kurumu olarak. Şimdi biz tabii hep şu zamana kadar bütün konuklarımızla birlikte yani sigortalılara bakan protection gap nedir? Hep bunu konuştuk. Ama bir de aslında sigorta endüstrisiyle ilgili protection gap'lerimiz var ki bunlar da hani ülkemizdeki sigorta şirketlerinin halihazırda almış oldukları reasürans programlarının özellikle depremle ilgili kısımlarında tabii ki limitler var. Bu limitler tabii ki yapılan modellemeler sonucu çıkan rakamlara göre esas alınarak yapılıyor. Fakat tabii ki bizim gene bir hazine kuruluşu olarak Türkiye'de önemli miktarda teminat sağlayıcı bir kurum olarak biz bu teminatların olması gerektiği level'ın yani düzeyin daha yukarıda olması gerektiğini düşünüyoruz. Ama bir taraftan da Maraş depremiyle birlikte ve dünya reasürans kapasitesindeki daralmanın da farkındayız. Dolayısıyla bizim önümüzdeki yıldan itibaren Türk sigorta endüstrisine daha farklı enstrümanları getirmemiz gerektiği ya da endüstrinin kendisine farklı enstrümanlar bulması gerektiği de aslında çok belli. İşte burada zaten Michael'ın bahsettiği işte parametrik sigortalar, katastrofik bonolar, ILS'ler, hatta spread loss'lar gibi birçok zaten bu konuda enstrüman var. Finansal piyasalardan bulunabilecek. Fakat bunlara erişim şu ana kadar çok kısıtlı kaldı piyasamızda. Bunları daha erişilebilir hale getirmek için bizler de gayret sarf edeceğiz. Ama şu da çok belli ki şu anda sigorta endüstrisinin almış olduğu toplam teminat miktarının olası kötü bir senaryoda Marmara'da yetmeme riski olduğunu da bir defa hepimizin önce kabul etmesi gerekiyor. Ondan sonra da buna uygun çözümleri hep beraber başta bizler olmak üzere araştırarak bunlara çözüm üretmemiz gerektiğini söyleyebilirim. Şimdi yani bu tabii bir de sigorta şirketlerinin protection gap'i dedik. Bunun dışında bizim tabii hep protection gap derken ortada bir risk var. Hani biz bu riski nasıl transfer edebiliriz veya nasıl cover edebiliriz bunları düşünüyoruz. Fakat bir de ortadaki deprem riski, yani şu anda en çok konuştuğumuz özellikle Marmara bölgesi için deprem riskini daha aşağılara çekmek için neler yapmalıyızı da aslında biz konuşuyoruz ama bunların altını biraz daha belki çizmemiz gerektiğini düşünüyorum. Burada da en önemli konulardan bir tanesi de özellikle İstanbul'da ama Marmara bölgesinde yapılan dönüşüm çalışmaları. Yani biz, sizler de farkındasınız, yabancı misafirlerimiz de geldikleri zaman görüyorlar ki İstanbul'un her yerinde çok büyük bir inşaat aktivitesi var. Yani binalar hızlı biçimde dönüştürülmeye gayret ediliyor. Bu konuda hem bakanlığın hem belediyenin %50, hatta ben bir yerlerde %65'e kadar falan gördüm. İşte bu şeylerin dönüşüm maliyetlerinin teşvik edilmesi, devlet tarafından, belediye tarafından büyük bir kısmının ödenmesi de gündemde ki insanlar bir an evvel binalarını dönüştürsün. Şimdi dolayısıyla biz şu an itibariyle İstanbul özelinde ama Marmara'nın toplamında bundan 5 ya da 10 yıl sonra çok daha farklı bir bina kalitesi ve çok daha manageable bir bina stoğu göreceğiz hep beraber. Yani bu da aslında bizim yani muhtemel yaşayacağımız bir olayda bizim göreceğimiz zararı oldukça aşağılara çekecek bir faktör olarak karşımıza çıkıyor. Sadece burada birkaç notum olacak. Onları sizinle paylaşmak isterim. Yani bizim burada tabii hep beraber endüstriyle birlikte, sigorta endüstrisiyle birlikte ama tabii ki bir hazine kuruluşu olarak bizlerin hem belediye ile hem Çevre Şehircilik Bakanlığı ile bu dönüşüm çalışmalarıyla ilgili çok daha yakından takip edip çalışıp desteklememiz gerekiyor. Beraber gayret sarf etmemiz gerekiyor ki bunu hızlandırabilelim. Yani bunların hızlandırılması bizim açımızdan tabii çok daha önemli olacak. Onun dışında tabii ki bu dönüşüm çalışmaları hızlandıkça bu bizim öncelikle mal riski sigortalarımıza bakan kısmıyla riskimizi azaltacak. Ona bağlı olarak hem inşaat ama özelde de işte iş durması ve kar kaybı sigortalarına olan riski de ciddi miktarda zaman içerisinde azaltacaktır. Dolayısıyla söylediğimiz gibi belki bundan 10 yıl sonra çok daha yönetilebilir bir PML rasyosuyla belki reasürans arıyor duruma gelmeliyiz. Ve bunun dışında da aslında bizim gene bir devlet şirketi olarak endüstrimizin de desteğiyle belki deprem tarifesiyle ilgili de hani özellikle bina yaşını, binanın durumunu gözeten, bunu daha çok dikkate alan ki Ceyhun Bey'in de bahsettiği buydu aslında. Bir daha sofistike bir tarifeye geçip binasını dönüştürmek istemeyenlere daha yüksek bir deprem teminatı primi önererek veya bunu da işte TCIP üzerinden zorlayarak onları dönüşüme biraz daha kolay ikna etmeye çalışabiliriz. Bu da tabii belki Marmara bölgesi özelinde özel bir şey olabilir. Bunların hepsi hakkında hep beraber çalışacağız. Benim söyleyeceklerim bu kadar. Herkese teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, finally, our fifth speaker, Mr. Yavuz, CEO of AXA Turkey, and welcome to the stage.
And we'll continue in Turkish.
Okay.
Çok kıymetli sigorta profesyonelleri, farklı kümeleri temsil ediyoruz. Burada olmak çok keyifli. Şimdi bir sunum akışı vardı. Bir kere organizasyon çok çevik, onu söyleyeyim. Bir 15 dakikaya sığacağım, merak etmeyin. Hemen akış değişti. Organizasyon çok çevik. Ben Türkçe'ye geçeceğim dedim. Misafirlerimize hemen tercüme için imkanlar sağlandı. Özgür Bey, teşekkür ediyorum. Bir WhatsApp kadar yakın durumda. Sektörümüz çok çevik. Bir kere çok burada da hepsini görüyoruz. Ben bugün biraz akışı değiştirdim. Çünkü Muzaffer abi bu toplantılarda görünce hemen akışı değiştirmem gerektiğini hissediyorum. Şöyle bir anekdotla başlayayım. 99 depremi sonrası reasürans plasmanları için Londra ziyaretimizde bana şunu söylemişti, unutmuyorum, o da unutmamıştır mutlaka. Geleceğe bakalım. Evet, bir geleceğe bakmamız lazım. Yani biz bu gibi etkinliklerde, toplantılarda, global misafirlerimizle, yerel toplantılarda hep dünü konuşuyoruz ama dün gerçekleşen olumsuzluklar gelecekte aynen devam edecekmiş gibi davranıyoruz. Bir kere Türkiye sigortacılığı, biz burada close the gap, evet burada bir protection gap'i konuşacağız. Yani korumanın sigorta şirketleri ve sigortalılar için yeteri kadar sağlanmasını konuşuyoruz. Ama bunları konuşurken, durum tespitini yaparken zaman zaman net olamadığımızı düşünüyorum. Ben bugün birazcık net olmaya gayret edeceğim sizlerle ilgili. O yüzden katılımcıların çoğunu da Türk görünce Türkçe'ye geçmeye karar verdim. Kusurumuza bakmasınlar. Şimdi bir durum tespiti. Durum tespitine şöyle bir ülkede yaşıyoruz. 99, hadi depreme bakalım. 99 depremlerinden bugüne Van, Adana, Malatya, Elazığ, İzmir depremsiz geçmemiş ve Maraş depremlerine geldik. Teşekkür ediyoruz. Karagün Dostu reasürlerimiz burada, Münih ve diğerleri gibi. Ama sigorta sektörü kendi imkanları, finansal kaynakları, hasar yönetme becerisiyle de ayakta kalmış ve hizmetini sunmuştur. Ve öğrenerek geliyoruz. Bakın hep bütün toplantının açıklamalarında hep öğrenerek geliyoruz. Bugün geldiğimiz noktada teşekkür etmeliyiz. Türkiye'de T-Rupt gibi bir organizasyon var. Yani protection gap'i tanımlamak için önce protection'ı tanımlamak lazım. Gurur duymalıyız T-Rupt'la. Çünkü kimse kusuruma bakmasın, ben de bir inşaat mühendisiyim. Modellemede çok vakit geçiriyorum. RMS, EQCAT, AR çok kıymetli modeller. Hatta AXA grubunun kendi internal modeli de var. Ama Maraş depremlerinde gördük ki 8. gün hasar tahminini doğru yapan yegane modelleme kuruluşu T-Rupt. Bu bizim için iyi haber. Türk sigortacılığını geliştirmemiz için mükemmel bir haber. Ama hem diğer modelleme kurumları için hem reasürörler hem de global bakış için biraz challenging haber. Çünkü artık black box çalışmaları artık hiçbirimiz içimize sindiremiyoruz. Çünkü Türkiye sigortacılığında öğrenilen bir şey var. Veri kalitesi çok önemli ve protection gap'e başlarken biz önce veri kalitemizin çok yükseldiğini bu sektörde bir kabul etmemiz lazım. Türkiye'deki sigortacıların veri kalitesi yüksektir. Tüm kriterler vardır. Bunu biz cesaretle ortaya çıkarmamız lazım. Bizim teşekkür etmemiz lazım Allianz Teknik'e. 5 yıldır yatırım yapıyorlar. Allianz grubuna teşekkür etmemiz lazım. Bizim teşekkür etmemiz lazım AXA grubuna, yerli yabancı tüm yatırımcılara bu sektörü büyütmek için sermaye artışı yaptıkları veya yeni şirketler satın aldıkları için. Şimdi protection gap meselesi sigortacılığın tabana yayılmasıyla bir ilişkidir. Bunda da el sıkışmamız lazım. Doğru mu Fahri Bey? Tabana yaydığımızda. Çünkü biz Ceyhun'un bütün sunumuna mükemmel katılıyorum. Bir konuya katılmıyorum. Fiyatlamadaki en büyük maliyet reasürans. Reasürans maliyeti sigorta sektörünün elinde değil. Reasürans maliyeti reasürörlerimizin elinde. Penetrasyon arttığı müddetçe, sayılar büyüdüğü müddetçe reasürans maliyeti düşecek. Bir kere problemimizi biraz da böyle tespit etmemiz lazım. Akışı bozdum gibi biraz ama gerçekten iki sorunun cevabını buradan alarak çıkmak istiyorum. Bir, gelecek neden bir risk olsun bu ülkede? 2, bizler oyun değiştirici olmaya hazır mıyız? Tespitleri yaparken bir de ben geleceğe bakmaya çalışıyorum. Yani evet, hep zorluğu konuşuyoruz. 2023 bitti. 2024'te sektörün tek konuştuğu şey protection cap in reinsurance. Evet, sektör bunun farkında ama globalden daha detaylı bakılması lazım Türkiye'ye. Bu ülke topraklarındaki sigortacılar, yerlisi, yabancısı her 3 ayda bir sermaye artışı yapıyor. Finansal çeviklik kazanmaya çalışıyor. Doğru mu Uğur Bey? Finansal çeviklik ama bir günde olmuyor. Dolayısıyla biz kara gün dostlarını çok seviyoruz ama geleceğin çözüm ortaklarını da arıyoruz. Geleceğin çözüm ortakları da reasürans işini yapan tüm reasürler, reasürans brokerları, Türkiye'de faaliyet gösteren şirketler, yatırımcılar, acenteler, brokerlar, hepimiz bu işi ileri götürmek zorundayız. Bakın, çok kıymetli şeyleri konuşuyoruz. Konuştuğumuz şeylerin arasında neler var? Sürdürülebilirlik kelimesi. Bakın, sürdürülebilirlik, sürdürülebilir olma, mitigation yani önlem alma, ESG denen Environmental Social Governance meseleleri. Türkiye bunların farkında ve en büyük sanayicisinden en küçüğüne kadar yatırım yapıyor. Yeşil enerjide en çok yatırım yapan ülkeye dönüşmüş durumda. Bunların farkında olup cebimizde tutmamız lazım. Çünkü eğer biz protection cap'i konuşacaksak temelimiz mutlaka tabana yayılmak. Ama nerede olduğunu bilen bir ülkeyiz, nerede olduğunu bilen bir sigorta sektörüyüz. Bunu unutmamamız gerekiyor. Evet, doğal afetler, iklim değişimi, biyoçeşitlilik, bilmediğimiz megatrendler geliyor. 2030-2035 biz hala protection gap konuşuyoruz şirketler ve bireyler için. Evet, doğru. Çünkü bütün bu megatrendlere baktığımızda bizi çok zorlayacak bir dünya var önümüzde. Ama bir de şöyle bir ülke düşünelim ki, protection gap'in de tanımı biraz burada herhalde. Dünyanın 17-18. büyük ekonomisi ama sigorta ekosisteminde dünyanın 33. büyük sigorta sektörü. Evet, işte burada da var bir de protection gap. Bir şey var burada ama bunu olumsuz okuduğumuz müddetçe biz adım atamıyoruz. Reasürans fiyatları arttı, hadi yerli fiyatları arttır. İşte DASK'ın pozisyonlanmasında bu alternatif modelleri kullanmamız lazım. Ama karşılıklı bir güvenmemiz lazım. Bakın, doğal afetlere karşı büyük riskler taşıyor bu ülke. Doğru, dünyada taşıyor. Yani her yerde taşınıyor bu. Ama bugün Maraş depremlerinde %70, yani buradaki sunumlardan, Erdem'in sunumundan hatırlıyorum. %70 bina küçük ve orta hasarlı, %30 bina ağır hasarlı. Yanlış değilim değil mi? Aşağı yukarı oranında 68, aşağı yukarı böyle. Şimdi demek ki en kötüsü, yani dünya tarihinde hiç olmamış induced earthquake denen birbirini örteleyen 4 saatlik 2 depremin sonucunda oluşan tablo bu. Marmara depremi bundan büyük mü olacak, küçük mü olacak, haddimi aşarım. Benim değil, benim konum değil. Ben sadece sigortacıyım ama şuna bakıyorum ben, geleceği kucaklamaya hazır bir sektör müyüz, değil miyiz? Yani o arayı kapatacaksak buralarda da odaklanmamız lazım. Finansal çeviklikten bahsettim. Bakın, sektör ve SDDK, regülatör bu konuda çok hassas ve bunları çözmeye çalışıyoruz. Bunların farkında olmamız lazım. Ama burada sadece rol sigorta şirketlerinin, kanun koyucunun, regülatörün değil, acentenin, brokerın, tüm dağıtım kanallarının, reasürans brokerının, herkesin rolü var. Çünkü olası en kötü senaryoda iyi ve kötü riski ayırmak mecburiyetimiz var. Eğer biz protection gap konuşuyorsak bunu da kapatmamız lazım. İyi ve kötü riski ayırabiliyor muyuz? Şu anki cevabım hayır. 34 yıldır meslekteyim, uğraşıyoruz. Çeşitli branşlarda depremde doğru bina yaşının tarife de yeri yok. Ama Türkiye'deki bina stoğu, İstanbul Marmara'daki bina stoğu bütün reasürörleri korkuturken İstanbul'da acaba yüzde kaç bina 99 depreminden sonra dönüştü? Bunu çok dikkate aldığımızı düşünmüyorum. Bunu dikkate alan tek bir yer var. Yine close the gap manasında protection gap, Türkiye'deki modelleme kurumu T-Rupt bunu dikkate alıyor. Dolayısıyla hikayeye baktığımızda biraz daha riske uygun fiyatlamanın da bu farkları kapatacağına inanmamız lazım. Sadece sigorta şirketi ve reasürörler değil, acente ve brokerların da buna katlanması ve bunu kabullenmesi lazım. Şimdi gelecek fırsat dolu. Penetrasyon diyoruz. Bakın, DASK %55'lerde, konut sigortacılığı %30'da, KOBİ %30'da, sanayi kurumsal %80'de ve büyük bir potansiyel var. Ama potansiyeli yapmak için bence, yani biz burada protection gibi konuşuyoruz ya, bir kere sigortacının rolünü çok net yazmamız lazım. Sevgili dostlar, yeniden yazmamız lazım. Bu manada TSB Yönetim Kurulu olarak biz çok kararlıyız. SDDK kararlı. Sancılı mı olacak? Vallahi sancılı olacak. Kanunsa kanun değişecek. Sigortacılığı yeniden tanımlamadan bu farkları kapatma olasılığımızın olmadığını düşünüyorum. Ve mutlaka sigortacının rolü yeniden tanımlanacak. Bu iş ailesindeki herkes ve burada kara gün dostlarımıza çok ihtiyaç var. Reasürörlere ihtiyacımız var. Onlar geleceğin çözümü de bizim için olmak durumundalar. Onların deneyiminden istifade etmek durumundayız. Ama sigortacılığı yeniden tanımlarken risk iştahından uzaklaşmamak lazım. Bakın, riskleri doğru kategorize edip o risklere uyumlu olarak ürünleri ve hizmetleri geliştirmek zorundayız. Eğitimleri bu seviyeye getirmemiz lazım. Sigortacılığı eğitimin içine sokmamız lazım. Gelecek risklerini dikkate almadan sigortacılık yapamayacağımızı biliyoruz. Batıya doğru baktığımızda ben oranın dahi %100 hazır olmadığını düşünüyorum ama tabii ki bizden adım adım öndeler, çok daha öndeler. Hangi coğrafyada biz bunu yapmak zorundayız? Hangi ekosistemde iyi ile kötünün bu kadar açıldığı, satın alma gücünün bu kadar birbirinden uzaklaştığı, finansal güç olarak, sermaye olarak küçük, büyük, orta ayrışmaksızın sermayelerin birbirinden çok açık olduğu bir sigorta ekosisteminde her bir dikmede o farkları kapatacak modelleri bulmamız lazım. Biz Protection Gap'e, Türkiye'de ürün, teminat, Marmara depremine karşı koruma var mı yok muyu tartışırken geleceği kaçıracağımız endişesindeyim. Dolayısıyla benim açımdan gelecek riskleri var mı? Var. Bugünden daha belirsiz, daha fazla. Ama bunlar fırsat mı? Bence mutlak fırsat. Ve son söz şu olması gerekir. Bu paneller, toplantılar yapılıyor, kalite artıyor, sayı artıyor. Hepimiz oyunu değiştirmeye kararlıysak bunu yapabiliriz. Birimizden biri bir tarafa çektiğinde olmaz. Reasürör de Türkiye'deki penetrasyonun artmasını konuşmak zorunda. Türk sigortacısı da sermayesini güçlendirip, konservasyonunu arttırıp, daha yüksek konservasyonla riski üstünde tutmayı konuşmak zorunda. Acentede iyi ile kötü riski ayrıştırmak zorunda. Kamu kurum ve kuruluşları da sigortacılığın tabana girmesi için eğitimin içine girmeye kabullenmek ve Türkiye'deki toplam sigorta ekosisteminde serbest tarifelerin ve yeni kanunların hazırlığı yapılmak zorunda. Bunları yapabilirsek oyunu değiştirenler olacağız ve ben bunu yapabilecek bir kabiliyet ve beceri burada görüyorum. Sadece hep dünü konuşarak, zorları konuşarak, yaşadığımız kötü senaryoların gelecekte hep tekerrür edeceğini konuşarak buraya varamayız. 99 depremiyle 2023'ü mukayese edelim. Fahri Bey'le sabahleyin biraz konuşurken oran aynı. Sigortadan kazanılan ya da getirilen reasürans ve sigorta sisteminden gelen ekonomiye destek o gün de %7, Maraş depreminde de %7. O zaman değil mi Fahri Bey? Yani durum bu. O zaman 10 milyarın 750 milyonu sigorta sisteminden gelmişti. Şimdi 100 milyarın 7 milyarı sigorta sisteminden geldi. Marmara depreminde %30'a gidebiliriz diyoruz. Ama bütün bunları kapatmak sadece reasürör ve sigorta şirketi arasındaki fiyat pazarlığı değil, korumaları yukarı çıkartarak dünya reasürans fiyatlarının Türkiye'ye birebir adaptasyonu değil, penetrasyonu büyüterek havuzun daha adil paylaşılmasını sağlamaktır diyeyim. Burada bitireyim.
Well, thank you for that very passionate and eloquent dissertation.
After 35 years, it comes.
That was quite something. Thank you very much. We have got a couple of minutes for some questions on Slido. I can't see any on the iPad yet. So the first question is relatively easy. How can we get a copy of the slides? I think that's probably a question at every single panel I've ever been on in my life. The second question: what do you think about Safe Hub's earthquake centers collecting data for parametric insurance in Istanbul? Are they close to the type used in Allianz towers? Who would like to pick that up?
Maybe can I get again the question? Thank you very much. This is related with the sensors, but what kind of sensors? As far as I understood, it could be accelerometers, which measures the vibration of the buildings. And how can we use in Allianz Tower? Allianz Tower, let me start with the important concept, which is, I guess the public risk awareness is too low, which is the design target level of buildings. Maybe in my last year's presentation, I have really emphasized this issue, because as house owners, you all think that your buildings would, if they are in accordance with the code, Turkish earthquake design code, then you wouldn't have any damage. It could be your expectation, and it is a very valid point. But normally, I must say that this is not the case, because the buildings are designed according to life safety performance level, which means that, most importantly, there is a chance that you cannot use your building after a major earthquake without retrofitting, but you will save your lives. So this is the main target of the design code, whatever, all over the world. But when it comes to, and unfortunately, it is valid for industrial buildings as well, and none of the owners know this issue, I guess. Because of that, because knowing this issue, I was in the committee before purchasing Allianz Tower, before purchasing the building. So this should be the main approach, that if you want to invest to a building, you must take care about the design level. So it is, since it is immediate usage level, yes, we decided to go with this building. In addition to that, it was not enough. We have implemented not only sensors, but structural health monitoring system, we call, and we are 7 days, 24 hours measuring, watching, monitoring our building. And these kind of systems should be widely used in the future. And also it is included in the design code for high-rise buildings. Because these systems don't give only the information that you are using during the earthquake. Afterwards, you can also use this information, technical information, to create very high, sophisticated structural analysis methods. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And the last question for the moment: should the DASK? Oh, there's another one just appeared. Shall the DASK policies in Turkey be compulsory, like traffic insurance?
Yes, it's already it's normally compulsory, but there is no penalty. That's the issue. So, apart from, traffic insurance is third-party liability insurance. So, with the security agency, the policeman, the gendarme of there are some control points on third-party liability insurance, but with TCIP, we are making people to secure their own buildings. So to penalize it is a difficult issue, let me say, and that's why, yes, we would be happy to have this more penalized in TCIP to increase the penetration, but even in third-party liability in traffic insurance, our penetration is 80%, even less than the 80%. So that's why, as I explained in my presentation, in my speech, that we would like to make monthly installments first to make people pay easier, and then with automatic renewal, we want to keep, to retain all people entering to TCIP, let me say, without an exit. That would be our approach to increase the penetration.
Thank you. Maybe the two more questions. One for Mr. Yavuz. Do you think it's necessary, this is from someone who wishes to remain anonymous, do you think it's necessary to make some adjustments to the earthquake tariff, including the first loss definition?
Maybe I can.
It's okay. Sevgili dostlar, cevabım şu. Türkiye'de deprem sigortacılığı yapan bütün sigortacılar muktedirdir. Herkesin uzmanlığı ve aktüeryal becerisi vardır ve serbest fiyatlanmalıdır. Riske göre fiyatlama yapılmak zorundadır. Bina yaşından tutun da başka karakteristiklere kadar içine alınacak bir tarifeye geçmesi gerekir. İlk ateş bazlı mı yaparsınız? Tam bedelden mi yaparsınız? Bunların hepsini zaten sigortacılar yapabilecek kabiliyettedir. Hepimizin buna sahip çıkması lazım. Size bir örnek vereyim, daha iyi anlayacaksınız. Bakın İzmir değil mi? Çeşme, Sakız, hemen karşısında 35 dakikada gidiyorsunuz. Midilli 15 dakikada gidiyorsunuz neredeyse. Bizim ülke topraklarımızda fiyatladığımız otellerin fiyatıyla Yunanistan'daki deprem fiyatlarına baktığınızda Yunanistan'dakiler daha ucuz. Sebebi bulmamız lazım. Çünkü Yunanistan daha çok sigortalı. Çünkü Türkiye daha az sigortalı. Çünkü Türkiye'de deprem dışında primler alınmıyor, Yunanistan'da alınıyor. Yani riske uygun fiyatlamaya geçtiğinizde ve serbest olduğunda sistem kendi kendini kurtarır ve yönetir. Biz mevzuat koyucuyla ve tarifelerle bu sektörü yönettiğimiz için zaten istediğimiz gelişimi yapamıyoruz. Ama net söyleyeyim, kesin bilgidir. Yunanistan'la Türkiye'nin deprem fiyatlarını mukayese ederseniz işletme bazında Yunanistan deprem fiyatında daha düşük ama toplam fiyatta Türkiye'den daha yüksek.
One last question. I'd like to get Michael, if you could take this first, because you've worked in a number of markets, and then maybe Erdem, you could comment from a Turkish perspective. Okay. And the question is, do you think that proposed parametric solutions are easy to explain to clients and meet expectations? Are we safe in terms of how claims on parametric products are handled? So Michael first and then Erdem.
Okay, I think it's a very valid question. I think like parametric solutions as we apply them on a global level are typically meant for risk aggregators. So like municipal government that has thousands of public buildings, and for them actually it is not necessary to know exactly where the damage will be, but they know that they will have a damage. So they seek compensation. So it's kind of a good management of basis risk. But the same applies for sovereigns. It gets tricky if you go down to the end customer. Since then the end customer can face the basis risk to a large extent. And that's where I think sensor technology comes into play. The one that has been presented by Liberty, T-Rupt sensors or other sensors, or there are also flood sensors for flood depth parametric solutions. As there you have actually the measurement of the intensity of the event at the location of, let's say, the insured household. No, not a household, but rather a corporate, as it's not yet fit actually for a household level implementation. So we have to be very careful about the value proposition of parametric insurance. It is not necessarily a substitute of traditional insurance. It is something that has a different value proposition by covering financial costs, financial loss, tax income shortfall, or other income shortfall, and it provides quick liquidity after an event. So as long as it is actually offered and designed in that way, and the basis risk is under control, I think it can be well explained and has a very strong value proposition, but we have to be careful about that.
Thank you. Erdem, just in a couple of minutes, could you add some comments?
I'll keep it quick, but I continue in Turkish for this answer. Şimdi şöyle,
konunun aslında birkaç tane veçesi var. Parametrik dediğimiz zaman bir parametrik reasürans var, bir de parametrik sigorta var. Parametrik reasürans tarafında Türkiye zaten denemelere başladı. Bildiğimiz vakalar var, çalışmalar var. Parametrik sigorta tarafında cevaplanması gereken sorular fazla, anlatılması gereken taraf fazla ve segmentlerin çok doğru seçilmesi lazım. Bunun geleneksel ürünlerle karşılaştırılabilir maliyetlerle olması lazım ve de bunu yaparken de birbirinin yerine geçmesindense daha çok böyle bu instant relief tabir edilebilecek, ön ödemeleri destekleyecek komponentler olarak poliçelerin içine girmesi mümkün olabilir gibi gözüküyor. Aslında bizim ülkemizin insanı yeniliklere adapte olma konusunda mahirdir. Dolayısıyla önümüzdeki dönemde ben daha fazla bunları konuşacağımızı düşünüyorum.
So can I just say, on behalf of everybody in the audience, I imagine, thank you very, very much to this very distinguished panel. It's been, for me, I've listened and learned an awful lot today. Thank you very much indeed, everybody.
Thank you very much. Can I kindly invite Mr. Ölken to present the plates of the speakers? And dear speakers, please wait for your plates. Thank you very much. Andrew? Andrew, please, you're expected. Kim? Michael? Erdem Bey. Michael, please. Özgür Bey. Ceyhun Bey. And last but not least, our dear Yavuz Ölken. Fotoğraf. Andrew, are you here or you left? Ah, great, super.